Cultural blind spots is a very interesting thing to be alert to that keeps you locked down as well. An example is like in Korea, people don't know each other, can't really see each other. So if you haven't been formally introduced, you could be walking by in the street and seriously bump into the other person where it almost hurts or it does hurt, and then it is so out of consciousness because you haven't been introduced that other person doesn't really exist, so they don't even know that they hit the other person because they're so out of consciousness because they haven't been introduced. So here's an example of cultural blind spots. It's a thing that's out of the mind of anyone in culture, so they didn't bump into somebody because they don't know who they are, and so they did not. So therefore, they didn't. It's not a thinking thing. It is actually they did not know that they bumped into the person. So actually, it is so suppressed in the culture that it's not even in consciousness, and it's been forced out of consciousness, even though it did happen. So all cultures have many, many blind spots. So if you're in your culture and you say, well, can you list your cultural blind spots? Well, maybe not, because you're blind to them. So if someone else from another culture can look at your culture and they can say, oh, you guys don't see that. And you say, see what? But you can't see it because you're blind to it. But be alert to these things, because you will start seeing them, because we are waking up. And that is a part of a very deep sleep and a very deep hypnotism, in a sense, by the culture to shove something totally out of consciousness and shove it down out of recognition. So cultural blind spots exist, and there's a lot of them. Start being alert to these things. Start waking up more and more.